Inclined dumbbell curls. This is probably the most mechanically valuable exercise on this list that the average gym goer still isn't doing consistently. When you recline on a 45 to 60 degree incline bench, your arms hang behind your torso. That puts the long head of the bicep under load in a fully lengthened position before you've even started the rep. Research on muscle hypertrophy consistently shows that training through a stretched position produces more growth than training a shortened one. This exercise exploits that directly. Set the bench between 45 and 60 degrees. Lower than that and you lose dumbbell tension at the bottom. Higher and you've basically built yourself a slightly reclined regular curl. Let the weight pull your arm back at the bottom of every rep. Don't rush through it. That stretch is the mechanism. Cutting it short is like doing half a squat and wondering why your legs aren't growing. Cable standing biceps curls. Here's why the cable version of a standard curl is underrated. People think it's the same as a dumbbell curl. It isn't. With a dumbbell, resistance is gravity dependent. At the top of the curl, when your forearm is nearly vertical, the dumbbell is almost directly above your elbow, which means mechanical tension on the bicep drops significantly. With a cable set at a low pulley, tension stays relatively consistent through the entire range of motion, including the top. You're getting more work done per rep. That's not a minor difference over a full training career. Easy bar or straight bar attachment, low pulley, elbows at your sides. If you're leaning back to finish the rep, the weight is too heavy and you've turned a biceps exercise into a partial row. Drop the weight. Train the muscle you came to train. Dumbbell incline spider curls. Same incline bench. Now you flip it and lie face down with your chest against the pad. Your upper arm is now in front of your torso, which is the opposite position of exercise 1. Here, you're emphasizing the short head and the peak contraction at the top of the movement rather than the stretch at the bottom. You need both loading zones in a complete program. Most people have neither. There's a practical bonus here that matters for a specific type of trainee, the ones who can't stop turning curls into partial deadlifts. When you're face down on a bench, you physically cannot swing. Your body does the honest work your ego usually avoids. If your reps suddenly get harder and the weight feels heavier, that's not a problem. That's what training actually feels like. Standing barbell curls. I know, you were expecting something exotic. You'll get more exotic in a minute, but I'd be doing you a disservice if this wasn't on the list, because the fitness industry's obsession with novelty has genuinely made this exercise underrated. Standing barbell curls allow the heaviest bilateral loading of any direct biceps exercise. They train both heads. They're simple to track, and progressive overload on them over months and years, actually getting stronger on them, will do more for arm size than most people's entire biceps specialization programs. Use an easy bar or straight bar attachment if the straight bar causes wrist discomfort. Keep your elbows at your sides. If your lower back is rounding and your elbows are driving forward on every rep, the weight is too heavy and you're no longer doing a biceps exercise. You're doing a full body momentum exercise with a bar. Different thing. Machine preacher curls. Not the free weight version, the machine version. The distinction matters and most people ignore it. On a free weight preacher curl, tension drops sharply at the top of the movement because the dumbbell or barbell becomes nearly vertical relative to your forearm. Same gravity problem as the dumbbell curl, just at a different joint angle. The machine maintains consistent resistance through the entire range of motion, including the top. You're getting more work done per rep. That's not a minor difference over a full training career. If you've ever done curls regularly but still don't feel much in your biceps, start here. The machine removes the variables.
One-arm Bayesian curls. This is the most underrated exercise on this list, and if you've never done it, that changes today. You stand facing away from a low cable pulley, grab the single handle, and curl with your arm behind your body. What you get is the stretched, long head loading position of the incline curl, combined with consistent cable tension throughout the movement. That combination is difficult to replicate with free weights. The mechanics here are straightforward. Arm behind the torso means the long head starts each rep under stretch. Cable means tension doesn't drop as you curl through the range. You're getting the best of both worlds in one movement. It takes a few sessions to get the coordination right. Foot position, angle relative to the cable, elbow path, these take some calibration. Stick with it. Once the pattern clicks, this exercise will very quickly become one you don't skip. One-arm incline dumbbell preacher curls. Set an incline bench to around 60 degrees. Knee behind it, rest the back of your upper arm on the top of the pad, and curl one dumbbell at a time. Your upper arm is now fixed in front of your torso, same loading position as the spider curl, but the incline pad creates a more stable and anatomically comfortable setup than lying face down. You also get a longer, cleaner range of motion than a standard vertical preacher bench allows. Training unilaterally, one arm at a time, also forces your weaker side to carry its own weight rather than letting the stronger side compensate during bilateral movements. Most people have a meaningful strength gap between left and right that they've never addressed because they've been doing bilateral curls their entire training career. This exercise makes that gap impossible to hide. Dumbbell hammer curls. Last on the list, but not because it's least important. I saved this one because I want to make sure you understand what it's training, because it's not primarily the bicep. Hammer curls use a neutral grip which shifts the loading emphasis to the brachialis, a separate muscle that sits underneath the bicep, and to the brachioradialis of the forearm. The brachialis, when developed, physically pushes the bicep upward. It increases your arm's peak from the side. You can have well-developed biceps and flat-looking arms simply because the brachialis is underdeveloped. This is more common than people realize. Hammer curls are also easy on the wrists and elbows. For anyone with joint mileage or early signs of elbow tendinopathy, this is often the curl variation you can keep doing when others become uncomfortable. Alternating reps, full range of motion, control the negative. Nothing complicated.